Hey guys, I'm designer Jen Gallagher. Welcome to another Just Ask Jen video hosted by Scrapbook and Card Study Magazine. If you haven't taken the time to do so, be sure to subscribe to our YouTube channel now. We have lots of informational and tutorial videos to share with you. Today, I'm going to use a special mini album concept. It's this cute little Rolodex system from Heidi Swapp. This particular one has gold foil as well as a teal color inside. Then I'm going to use some of the elements from her collection to create a mini album. I'm going to go ahead and create the album, and then I'm going to come back and show you what it looks like. This is a great way for me to show you how I have decorated some of the cards inside. Let's go ahead and get started. Today, I'm answering the question of how to create a mini album that is kind of off the grid or not exactly a square album. And one of my favorite albums that I have been seeing and I wanted to try is the Heidi Swapp Memory Decks system. And how it works is, you remember your parents' little office tools, and they had the little address thing that sat in a box or a container and you flip through as you looked for addresses. Well, this system was designed by Heidi to create a place where you could easily put fun little mini album pieces. I'm going to walk you through all the different things you can add to this, but what you want to start with is you need some kind of Memory Decks tray or one of the other Memory Decks items that she offers. This particular one has a gold foil. Really, really gorgeous. Now, if you're going to be adding any of your own bits and pieces to this particular Memory Decks tray, you are going to want the hole punch, and it has 2 holes in it as well as a guide for where the paper will go, and this will allow you to punch holes in any of the cardstock or pattern paper or even photos that you choose to add to this system. Then there's a whole bunch of different Heidi Swapp things that are made specifically for the Memory Decks system, but they are also great for any kind of project. So I'm just going to show you everything that they generously donated so you can get a feel for some different things that you can try. I love that her dies are in a gorgeous teal color that matches the brand. This particular one says Bliss in cursive. This one says document. Now, some of these, especially this document word, will be too long to fit the width of the Memory Decks, but you can get creative with this, and I'll hope to show you that in the video as we create something together. There are these fun little charms. They say choose happy, enjoy the view, loved, and smile. The thing about Heidi Swapp is she adds so many bits and pieces for layering. So if you love layering, this is a great system. These are 2 frames. They're shaker frames. One has glitter in it and one has little triangles in it. They're double-sided. There's some wood veneer shapes that you can add. Today, memory, noted, and hello. And you can ink these with her spray mist. You can glitter them however you want to add some dimension. Then I want to show you some of the little bits and pieces that come prepared to add to the Memory Decks system. There are these fun metal tabs, and these are meant to divide the bits and pieces of whatever you add to this album or this address place, whatever you choose to do. But these are metal. They have 3 different designs. One is striped, one is a Swiss dot, and one is a diagonal. You could paint these or you could leave them as is, and you can add stickers to the tabs if you desire. Now, if you're going to go with something that's more traditional that includes phone numbers and addresses, then I suggest you grab this 12-piece tab set. They're the Memory Decks tabs. They have all the different letters, and it's a gold foil. But if you're doing the album, you could also do this as well. Say you wanted to do an album that was an A to Z album. This would be a great concept for that. You can start with the more plain Memory Decks cards, and you can see that there's 3 different designs. There is a grid design or a graph, there is a line design, and then a kind of watered down craft looking. And these are great for just more generic things and allow you to decorate and build. So this is another great set. If you want something a little more feminine and fancy, then try the ones that have gold foil pieces on them. And I want you to see the effect of some of these. So I'll just show you some of the phrases. Again, gold foiled, so gorgeous. Super trending right now. So you can add these as well. Then if you want something that has pattern and color, look for her paper pads. They're a little bit smaller and they're perfect for the Memory Decks system. So if you're going to take a card and you are going to add it, you can see that it's just thin enough that if you use the punch or you cut it down to size. You're not wasting a lot of paper, but you can use any pattern paper. Just some beautiful feminine patterns. I love the mix of masculine and feminine in her collections. That's very my style. Another thing you might consider adding if you want to add some ephemera to this particular album style is to use envelopes. And again, they have the little holes punched at the bottom so they will fit in that Memorydex tray. So again, you could add maybe a personal note if you're giving away this album. Isn't that a beautiful print? Or just some fun ephemera like tickets from a day out. Embellishments include things like stickers. These are glittered and gold. If you want something that's a little more generic and you want to add some details, there are these date stickers. You can add dimension with things like these bulldog clips, and they have a paint line that's diagonal on the clips. Or you could add the flag paper clips. Think about putting things on the side or on the top of the cards. These are some different cards you can use that have die cut words out of them. And you could easily watercolor on this paper. I'm not sure that it is watercolor paper, but because of the texture on it, I think it would be gorgeous with mist. Look at that, Swiss dots. So many things you can mix and match. If you're a stamper like me, then you want to check out these fun stamps. They are just wide enough to fit on a card. You can see here, will easily fit on a card. If you like rub-ons, she has this fabulous rub-on foil kit with gold. She also has a sticker foil kit, which is a foam sticker, so it has a little bit of dimension, and this one has silver. Wood veneer and cardstock. You are here. It's a much bigger piece, so if you wanted to add something to the card, it is wide enough that it could fit in. Now, here's another great tool you'll want to consider. She has dies that will cut out the card pieces from any kind of pattern paper or thin materials, and there's 2 dies in each one. Open it up to show you what I mean. There are different shapes to the actual cards themselves, and these are thin roll dies, so you'll need like a Sizzix machine or a Cuttlebug or whatever die system you use, but you can see there's 2 in this package with tabs in different places. And what you can do is if you want a tab on the right, simply cut from the back of the paper and it'll put your tab on the right, and then 2 other ones with a rounded and a more fancy corner. So you'll want the dies if you want to add your own pieces. A date stamp is always a great stamp, and what's fun about this is it includes her gorgeous cursive as the month, and then it has the date and numbers. And then for some texture, look at some of her other embellishments, including this lace ribbon. So let's take a look at this Rolodex album from Heidi Swapp. It's kind of an album off the page. You can use it as a traditional Rolodex, of course, if you wanted to. However, I even incorporated the A and B, the alphabet tabs, just for a fun look. So I started with a metal plate Rolodex card, and I ended with one. And I did that because it kind of supports the weight of the cards. And I went ahead and decorated it with a doily, one of the Heidi Swapp die cut words, and then I've added throughout this particular Rolodex some fun things, and I stuck with a few colors throughout, and you'll see them repeated. There are leaf die cuts here. Now I didn't decorate the back of the cards because it's hard to see them when they're sitting on your desk. On this particular card, again, it is the AB alphabet card. I added a die cut butterfly, a button tied with twine, and then I've added some wood veneer as well as a paper clip. And then each item in here has different elements. They have different shapes. It might have gold foil. I've journaled on some and added a date. She does provide a date stamp if that's what you're looking for. One thing you can do is using the die cuts provided, you can actually die cut photos. You just need to make sure that you don't cut off something in the photo that is interesting, like an eye. That would be a bad thing to die cut off, but I planned this die cut, and the photos in here are ones that make me laugh or smile. The pockets in this collection I've decorated with additional stickers and die cuts, and I had some extra Heidi Swapp things that I hoard and keep, and I've added them. To the insides of these pockets are little letters or mementos to each person or even to myself. Again, I have decorated each alphabet tab. I've added another wood veneer letter and some more die cutting and some punches, as well as down here on the bottom, some of the pattern paper from this collection. There are lots of Heidi Swapp things that you can use, including mists and things like this. This is actually a mistable banner. However, I chose to leave it white because I like the stark white against that gold pattern. And again, it has a foiling to it, so it shimmers and shines. To the top here, I've wrapped twine around the metal clip just to give it a little more texture. And then on this particular card, you can see that I have stamped and then added my own journaling. And the messages are simply about having hope and love for family and things like that. And then the paper clips can either be attached to items that you put on the card, they can be attached to the side, or they can be attached to the top. Another thing to think about is to make sure that you're not putting a lot of things on one side. You want to mix it up so there's things on the left side, things on the right side, and things in the middle that stand up. I also added some smaller photos that I've cropped, and then again punches. This card was already die cut and the foiling was done. You could use the mint machine and do this yourself. Another pocket to which I've added one of the stickers as well as a clip, and you'll see that I've repeated the die shapes and the punch shapes throughout. This gives it a cohesive feel. Then some fun things in this collection are little charms that you can clip to things. I've added twine, which I've wrapped around both the front and the back of the card. And then I added that little clip to it. It does function like a jewelry clasp and just easily clips to whatever you want it to. And this one is a color photo. More of the alphabet tabs. This one I added the grid to it. This grid card comes in one of the die cut packs, and I just cut it off at the top so that it fit perfectly on this card. There are watercolor pieces in here, but rather than watercolor it, I wanted to keep it kind of streamlined, and so I left it kind of the creamy white. I added a sticker and some additional punched items, and there are a couple of different cards in this particular set. This one happens to be a Swiss dot. Another photo and foil card. Again, another large card. Now you have to choose if this look bothers you or doesn't bother you. One option would be to cut the photo so that it's just a rectangle. If you're more comfortable working with a rectangle, then simply die cut a piece from cardstock and then place a rectangle photo right across it. So a couple options there, but I liked the larger photo. Then one thing that's fun that you can do is I've tucked little elements underneath the flap of this envelope. And they're stickers from this collection and they are foiled. And then for a unique top to this card, I've added this wood veneer word memory. And that sticks up when I place it all together. And it makes you want to find that card and see what it contains. So make it interesting. Another way to make it interesting is to staple pieces together. And I love the look of metal things added to this particular Rolodex, so I did use a staple. And this is simply a yellow gross grain ribbon. And then I've added some cardstock strips to the bottom. These cards are great. You could stamp on them, journal on them, add photos. You could die cut them. You could fussy cut out the phrases. So you're not stuck or limited to the die cut card. Again, another large photo, another one that makes me laugh. This is the GH alphabet card, and I die cut another butterfly, and I added one of Heidi's epoxy stickers to the center of this card. Another one of the watercolor cards, this one is a star, and you can see that it has a peekaboo effect for what's behind it. Another way to add texture and interest to the page. And then I added one of the epoxy stickers and a die cut yellow leaf. More punching. To this one, I added some of the gold glitter stickers. You can see how they shimmer and shine. Some journaling, some more punches. And then another thing you can do is create your own tabs. Whether you have a punch that does this, or you hand cut or digitally die cut these, just staple it to the top of any of her cards. Then think about adding really big pieces to the cards. This is a wood veneer shape from Heidi. You could mist it and you could paint it, but I liked it just as that plain wood piece on that beautiful gold foil stripe. And then again, I ended with the metal piece. Something that might be fun is painting this. You could spray paint the metal piece, or you could just add some acrylic paint and do kind of a watercolor wash to the top of it. So here is how the Rolodex looks when it's put together. Again, it's completely personalized to my style, and you can decorate it however it works for you. Thank you for joining me for this Just Ask Jen video. For additional inspiration, visit our blog and website.